How's everybody doing?
Good.
Obviously, the players and the staff are disappointed in not being able to pull out a win on Saturday against South Carolina. But I'm just very pleased with the effort that our players played with. I'm pleased with the physicality that we played with. I'm pleased with how hard we competed. I think we've continued to show improvement. And obviously there's some things we need to do better, but you're playing an SEC team at home that has an SEC roster, and they were very talented. And I thought our kids played their dang tails off and gave us a chance to win. And we just did not make the plays there in the fourth quarter to win the ball game. And we put ourselves in a position to win it, but had our opportunities to put the game away. I thought there right before the half. Obviously the interception return for a touchdown was a big momentum swing in the ball game. I thought we fought back and got back in control there in the fourth quarter. A good drive there to end it, and pretty clutch kick. So disappointed in the loss, but our focus is completely on Marshall. A very good Marshall football team right now. Excited for the matchup this Saturday in Huntington, West Virginia. I expect it to be a pretty hostile environment. I think there's just a lot of history between the two programs, and obviously they're off to a great start, averaging 46 points a game in their 2-0 start to the season. So we have a great challenge going up there this Saturday. Questions?
Coach, you guys have obviously faced two good defenses to start the year. How do you kind of balance that and maybe some of the offensive struggles? Can you put your finger on maybe what some of the issues are on that side of the ball?
Well, I think some of the issues are the personnel we faced. Some of the other issues are, it's a variety of things. You can look at Holton. I know a lot of people want to blame him for everything, but that's not the case. I think that certainly there's some things he can do better. I think there's half a dozen decisions he can be more disciplined with that puts us in better situations. But I think we've also got to play better around him. You had some drops there on Saturday on some big downs. You had a couple of times where they got some pressure on him when we had receivers open. So I think that we've got to do a better job altogether of execution. Now, I did think we did some better things. I thought our offensive line played much better on Saturday. I thought we did a really good job in the run game most of the day. Able to get Rajay and Keaton, open a little bit more than we did in the opener in running the football. So I think it's a combination of things. But I do know this, standing on that field, those corners that they had, their front seven, there were plays that we would have, and just the speed of their defense would just erase them. What you would think was going to be a 12-yard gain would be a 3-yard gain. What you would think was going to be a first down would be a fourth down. I thought Snead had the first down on the sideline right here in the third quarter, and all of a sudden, it just gets erased. And so there's a reason why those guys are, playing in that conference. There's a reason why those ends are, going to be very high draft picks, and why they're so highly rated coming out of high school.
The Elijah Morris injury, did that happen at game or at practice after the fact?
It happened on the last snap of last Tuesday's practice. So, I tell you what, that's a tough kid. At first, the athletic staff said there's no way. By the end of the week, we did dress him. I was concerned going into that game just of, turning what was a minor injury into something significant because of, the position he plays and the physicality at that position. So, the other guys played very well. So that gave us the ability to give him just a little bit more time. So he should be full go this week.
Coach, how much confidence does this team pick up after almost winning that game last week? If you get the call at halftime, you actually win the football game. It's hard to play the perfect ball game, but where's the team stand at this point?
Well, I do think there's some confidence gained from the way that we competed and played, especially on the defensive side of the football. In a game like that, everything gets magnified. The kickoff return in the fourth quarter is obviously a huge play. It's one play, but it's a huge play because it set up a field goal for them to tie the ball game. Not getting into the end zone there in the fourth quarter, when Snead's knee touches down. It's one play, but it's a huge play that gets magnified. The screen pass right before the half, it's one play, but it's a huge play. So I think there's a lot of positives coming out of that game. I think there's a lot of individual plays that get magnified in a very close loss when, one thing goes our way, you win the ball game. And there's a big difference in 1-1 and 0-2, right now where our program is.
Coach, a lot of us look at the SMU game last year with everything that flowed so well, and especially in that first half offensively. Do you stick your head in the offensive room and say, hey, let's go back and look at that film and see what we did there, and maybe open things up a little bit?
Well, I think we're all trying to to find that magic, and you're all trying to find that execution. There's some pieces that aren't here that were here last year, but the bulk of them are here. The bulk of our roster is that played in that ball game is on the field right now for us. So the challenge is just for us to play better. Like I said in the answering the first question, we've played against two really good defenses, and that was a challenge on Saturday. But obviously, we have to play much better, and we've got to score points. If we want to do the things that we want to do.
Following up on Ronnie's question earlier, McIver, Sarad Ware, Deontay Johnson, that experience against that type of offensive line, they seem to play pretty good. How much can they grow from that with Elijah when he was out?
Well, I think they're going to continue to grow. They're going to continue to improve. They're going to continue to gain confidence. The more they play and the more they have success. And I thought Xavier McIver, that's probably his most extensive playing time. I thought he played really well right there in the middle. You got 650 pounds or so leaning on you all day long. That's not easy. So I thought he held his own in there. I thought Surad really did some good things on Saturday. I think he's a guy that probably needs to play a little bit more. I thought D'Angelo McKinney did some really good things at times. So all those guys are going to continue to improve the more they get to play.
With holding it in one aspect, when he's in the pocket specifically, have you seen any either hesitancy or being timid in those situations at all, or no?
I think that I've seen him make some really good throws. The frustrating thing is some of the throws that he put on the money that we didn't come up with a catch on Saturday. I think I've seen some situations where he just needs to have a little bit more discipline with his decision making. And he's Donnie points it out to him in film. But it's not everything on him. I think it's the reality of the position is this. And I told him this when I got hired. When things are going well, he's going to get a lot of the credit, even when he doesn't deserve a lot of it. When things aren't going well, he's going to get a lot of the blame because he touches the ball every snap, and that's just part of being a quarterback. So, he's motivated to play better. He's motivated to help lead us to victory. So I know that he'll get those things corrected.
Coach, you said Marshall averaging over 40 points a game. How much is the offense going to have to crank up, and how much is the defense going to have to crank up to kind of get you in that window?
Well, I think we've got to play a very complimentary game. I think it's all hands on deck. Going into a game like this. Certainly, they're an extremely experienced older team that's won a lot. Doc Holliday did a really good job there for a decade. This is a team that won 7 games last year. We're ranked in the top 20. A lot of explosive athletes that have a lot of experience. The quarterback, he's a third-year kid. He mid-year, what would have been, right when I was hired here. So, he was the newcomer of the year in the league last year. And he's really, I've been very impressed with him. He's a good athlete, runs well, can really throw it, has great arm talent. He really rips it now. So, the same offensive coordinator he's had the whole time he's been there. So, Coach Huff retained the OC, and I just think they're playing very, very well right now. So, we've got to play well defensively. We've got to play well offensively. We've got to play well on special teams. we've just got to play a very complementary game in order to get the win on Saturday.
What's the overall mentality like in the locker room right now? And also, how do you keep them motivated, and what are you going to do to get them pumped up to go up to Huntington for another battle?
Well, I think they're very motivated, and I think they're very excited for this matchup this Saturday. So, we haven't played, chopped meat. I mean, we had, you look at some of the teams that some schools play early in the year. We haven't played that. We've played two really good football teams. So they know that. They know that we have a good football team. I mean, that's just the reality. You don't go toe-to-toe with South Carolina like that in a game this early in the season if you're not a pretty good football team. So we're facing another really good football team. So I think that the guys are excited. The guys are motivated for Saturday. They know we've got a tall task, but they also know we have a great opportunity.
Kind of going on that, I was going to ask, even the first week I asked you about App State and matchup and it's a regional thing and recruiting and all that. Really, all three of these games are separate matchups and maybe challenges, but they're all going to be grouped together of regional type teams.
Right.
You want to play, and again, you're going to cross paths and recruiting. I mean, what's the importance of that? This being kind of another opportunity like that.
I think there's a lot of importance to it. I mean, I think it's we go against all three schools in recruiting. It's like after the game Saturday, I've got several kids that are coming up and talking to me after the game that I recruited very hard, whether it's here or JMU, that are playing at South Carolina right now. So, I think, there's a lot of history between us and Marshall. I think that, Appalachian State's probably going to become an institution that we're going to have a pretty good rivalry with as well. I think there's obviously a lot of history between us and South Carolina. So, they're all regional schools. They're all exciting matchups for our fan base, and they're all games that our kids get excited about. So it's a challenging schedule, but it's one that has a lot of familiarity with it.
Coach, I probably get asked this question a lot of the reports I ask you. When the offense is struggling like that, is there any thought about just putting in Mason Garcia for a series or two to let Holton watch from the sideline, or does that not come up at all in a game like that?
Well, I mean, I think that you have an experienced quarterback in a challenging game against a very talented defense out there on the field. I think that obviously, we're continuing to develop Mason, and there will be a day when he is the starting quarterback here, and there might be situations where he plays this year. But I think you got to be careful with that because you want to make sure that you take advantage of every possession, and I think that Holton right now gives us the best chance to win.
Was there any opportunities watching the tape back that you thought you could have been more aggressive on offense on Saturday?
Well, I mean, I think that there's lots of opportunities where there were some things called that for one reason or another didn't work out. I think that, we're fairly aggressive there at the beginning of the ball game. I think we were very aggressive in the fourth quarter. We went for it on 4th and 14, basically in the red zone right there. I mean, that's pretty freaking aggressive. So, it's you play the game to win. I wish we'd have hit CJ on the post route, but Holton's getting hit in the face. He couldn't get the throw off. So, I know this. Our kids want to win. Our coaches want to win, and so they're out there trying to score every possession.
You guys played in a good environment in the opener, but this will be a true road game.
Yeah.
How does that change preparation going on the road to Huntington?
Well, I think we gotta prepare for a loud, hostile environment. I mean, that's the reputation that Marshall has. I mean, they've got a lot of history of winning there. They have a rabid fan base, much like ours. It's a 6:00 kickoff. I would expect that me and the kids will get called every name under the sun when we take the field, and I think it's going to be a loud, challenging environment. So we're doing everything we can to prepare for that this week at practice. I think that the coaching staff that has been there and have a good bit of history in that stadium, they understand what it's going to be, so they'll help us prepare the players for Saturday night.
going with Marshall, they did have a coaching change, at least at the top, obviously.
Yeah.
The first game, they, obviously handle a Navy team like that. I mean, what can you attribute that to? Not that it was surprising, but usually, first-year coach, you don't really kind of maybe come out the gate that way the first week. What do you think kind of happened there?
Well, I think that, I think Charles Huff is an experienced guy. I think keeping the OC keeps some continuity offensively. I think with the experience coming back and the quarterback and the OC being on the same page, I think that allows for a lot of continuity. I think that Navy struggled. They helped them a good bit. I mean, a blocked field goal, blocked punt. Marshall had some to do with it, but it was really breakdowns by Navy. So I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. But at the end of the day, they're a good football team. They're well coached, and they're really playing well right now. I mean, it's been very impressive watching their tape.